All right, welcome to another episode of Staying Connected, where we explore the depths of self, people around us, and our environment. We hope to uncover the life lessons and advice, meaningful relationships, and to learn more about one another through all open and honest conversations. How's it going, guys? I am Kenny.
And I am Scott. Okay, let's jump into it. It is a special episode today, episode 10.
Episode
Come a
10, the Big
long way.
10.
So
Yes.
for today's episode, we've decided to do some Q&A. We've polled some of our friends and family for any questions that they may have. And then we also thought of questions to ask not only ourselves, but each other. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I
Right.
can start with my question first, if you don't mind. Okay, so my first question is what's one thing you're most proudest? And it could be this year or what you've done in the past, you know. But
Okay.
for myself, unless you want to start.
Go first.
Okay.
All year.
Okay. So I think the change started 2 years ago. So the one thing I'm most proudest of myself is that I take ownership for everything now. Because before, when I would mess up or when someone would mess up, I would always play the blame game. It's like, oh, you did that. It's because of your fault that this happened. Oh, why didn't you do this? That led me to fail. Oh, you brought down the team. So I was always pointing fingers. I was just giving everyone blame except for myself. And it all changed when I read this one book. It's called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink. It's a Navy SEAL. Basically, he says, whatever happens, you got to take ownership for it, extreme ownership. So, for example, if your team fails, they didn't carry through their mission, whatever, or like you didn't complete a project on time, it's nobody's fault except your own. You could have asked for help. You could ask for the resources. You could have communicated better, like, hey, boss, we needed some help. We need some, we need some manpower. Or if you're the leader, like, hey, guys, what do I need? Where are you guys right now? Like, what's the progress? Like, do you guys need some resources? Do you need more people? I can transfer people over. So everything is your fault. And it doesn't just start and begin with, oh, it's my fault, and that's it. It starts with, yes, it's my fault. I take full ownership. And now here's what we're going to do to fix it and not let that happen again. So the clearest example that I've had for myself is, so I'm in a long distance relationship, right? And it sucks. That's why I thought before, I would always blame my girlfriend. Oh, you don't make time for me. You're always like doing this, so pitiful now that I look back at it. But now I've come to see the light that she's trying her hardest, and like, I'm giving myself problems. I'm the one to blame. Instead of complaining about not having enough time, how about I make time? How about I alter my schedule in order to talk with her more or to do more things with her? Why don't I start sleeping earlier so I can wake up earlier to talk to her? How about I stop messing around on social media or like wasting time watching videos when I could be learning new things, and then teach her, and then educate her on different things, make the conversation very lively and such. So ever since I started taking ownership of all my problems, all my faults, I've been so much happier because it's no one's fault. And once I started taking ownership, it's so easy to like take a step back and be like, okay, now it's my fault. How am I going to fix this? What's the solution? Because once you start blaming people, you're looking for all of the excuses, to not take action. That person should have done this. That person should have done that. Instead of looking at yourself and figuring out what you need to do. Because at the end of the day, if you blame other people, you yourself don't get a chance to level up and grow because you're busy making excuses. You're not out here spending time analyzing what you did wrong and trying to find a skill set or trying to improve on an aspect of your life that you made a mistake on or you're weak at. Instead, blaming other people and making excuses just keeps you complacent while everyone around you, is growing and leveling up. So I think that's been the most important thing I've learned. And I know I slipped up every once in a while, but I come to my senses. And then I'm like, okay, stop blaming. You're just emotional. You're just mad. Let's take ownership. It's my fault. And then everything starts to make sense again. Oh, okay, I see why I started yelling at this person. Oh, I see why, you know, this didn't go out as I intended to, because it was my fault. And it always will be my fault.
Mm. Have you ever felt a time where you did take ownership, but you weren't at fault for it? So you knew that it was the other person's fault, you could say.
Right. So
Yeah.
at work, I do manage a few people,
Mhm.
and sometimes they'll mess up, but and then I wasn't there. So even though they messed up and I wasn't there, it's still my fault, because who's the one that taught them all the procedures? Who's the one that trained them? Who's the one that hired them? Who's the one that's always around them? That's me. So I didn't do my job. So even though I'm not there, I'm still directly responsible for, everything that they do. And once, like I mentioned, once I took ownership, okay, what do we need to do next? We need to do training in this. I need to start asking for more feedback, because I just assumed that they knew what they were gonna do, and we're all human. We're gonna make mistakes, so you can't assume. Um, Once I stopped doing that, I just asked for feedback. Hey, what do you guys need? How can I help you do your job better? What else do we need to do? Do you see any uh, some holes in our department or our program? Because sometimes I'm not there and they are. And by able to get that feedback, I'm able to make a relationship better, build trust, and make the entire department better. So it's always your fault. It's just the easiest thing. When you don't blame anybody else but yourself, the solution is right there, and you can start working your way back up.
Yeah, and I find that pretty interesting because there's so many qualities to what a leader is, and taking ownership is definitely one of those that you really have to carry. I mean, I don't want to get too like political and all that, but the current situation of just things happening here with like government and all that, um,
Yes.
they're constantly working in teams, and blaming someone for doing something, saying something, and all that, it's not going to help at all. So, um, yeah, I was just kind of like reflecting on your situation, just like your relationship with your girlfriend, and just like my own experiences working in teams and all that. So, taking ownership is really a characteristic that every leader should have, because you know you just got to find a way to just move forward from all of this, and you know taking time to debrief about our individual
Yes.
self, as well as with your team members whenever you can, because that's the only way you can move forward, is just to point out exactly what you guys need to improve on, what you need to improve on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
in order to help um, yourself grow, as well as your team members, those around you. So yeah, taking ownership is a pretty good characteristic to have.
And if you think about it, like imagine if you're a part of a team where the leader does nothing but blame you and other people. Now what are you gonna think? It's like, oh, when stuff hits the fan, this leader is just gonna blame someone else and never take account for everything, never take accountability. So then you start to not trust this leader. You start to not tell him these things. So you almost kind of like indirectly sabotage the
Yeah.
project just because you don't have this relationship. Because they have proven to you that every time something happens, oh, it's gonna be my fault no matter what.
Mhm.
So that's just key. If you want to build a good relationship, you need to start taking ownership. And when you do start taking ownership, is that going to make you look like a bad leader? No. Like people are going to look like, man, this guy, when stuff hits the fan, like even though I made the mistake, he's taking ownership. He's the one saying, no, it's my fault. Then you start trusting him. Like
Yeah.
when things are getting complicated, I can trust this guy because he's not going to go around pointing fingers, throwing people under the bus. So
Yeah. All right. So for me, it's usually hidden like behind my body, but okay, I want to bring it up. Excuse me, real quick.
Ooh, it should be interesting. Oh, the medal.
Okay, so as usual,
Is it the marathon one?
yes. So I think a couple episodes back, I briefly mentioned just like my journey with first off joining a marathon, and yeah, it was back in 2019 when January 2019 when I decided, hey, I just got an email from the Honolulu Marathon asking me if I wanted to participate. And then to myself, I was like, shit, should I do it? Should I not? Um, so I then decided, yes, I'm gonna try it out. So I registered, and when it comes to marathons, you have to pay to run your ass off.
Pay to suffer.
Yes. But yeah, throughout last year, ever since January 2019, it's been it's been quite the journey. Just like learning a little bit more about what a marathon is, who runs a marathon, what do you have to do to prepare for a marathon, and just what are the benefits of running a marathon. So I had to really research all of that, and just internally tell myself mentally, like, hey, you're running a marathon at the end of, well, actually in December of 2019. So you better get your shit together and just start training and all that. So month after month, I would continuously just bump up my pace, my time, and just the distance that I would run. But for me, I guess before training for this marathon, I had no experience running any sort of 5K, 10K, anything like that, half marathon. And a lot of people were kind of like skeptical about my decision because they were like, are you sure do you know what you're getting into? And honestly, I did not know what I was getting myself into until the day of the race. Or actually until I started training and all that. So yeah, month after month, just started training a lot more. And eventually December came around, and yeah, that morning at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I was taking an Uber to um, the start line, and you just see everybody just preparing and stretching, all of that. And I got the butterflies. Everybody gets nervous when it comes to doing anything like performing or running a marathon. So yeah, I guess once I started running the Honolulu Marathon, I just had to mentally tell myself just to continue going at a good pace and just like take your time. Don't rush it. It's your first marathon. And I guess for like maybe 3-4 hours, the sun was still down. So I was just like running, and then the sun started going up. And that's when I started feeling the pain and just the struggle to even complete this whole marathon. Um, I guess I should have mentioned that a marathon itself is 26.2 miles. That is, yeah, the common, or that is a full marathon right there. And to not have experience running more than like 6-7 miles, it really took a lot of training to get to that point. So yeah, it was a physical, mental challenge that in the end, I guess, rewarded me this medal, which I keep this on my wall every morning just to kind of like reflect and realize that anything is possible. You just have to continue going above and beyond, shock people, because you might even shock yourself as well. So it was an experience that I really felt proud. I mean, I was crying under the at the finish line under the water showers. So yeah, you couldn't really see my tears, but it was just the pain and all the effort, all the practice that was put into that one day was really just, you know, very rewarding. I mean, I have this as just a symbol to look back on the journey. And you know, anybody can run a marathon as long as you put in the effort to practice and train and mentally prepare yourself for that journey. And I guess statistically, there's only a 1% of people that actually do a marathon. So
Wow, you're in the 1%.
yeah, so I didn't find that out till like later on. Yeah, like closer to the marathon day. And yeah, to have that sort of accomplishment was really, especially before the new year, before 2020 came around, it was something that topped off the year. Just um, yeah, preparing so much and achieving this as well. So yeah, I mean, I I love looking at this. I look at this in the morning and every single day, and I feel proud. Um, and yeah, I this is not the end. I will continue to run the marathon as much as I can. I guess, I mean, yeah, it's definitely, I want to encourage other people to at least maybe like run like a 10K or some
Just
sort
start
of,
running.
yeah, set some goals for yourself to, like, when it comes to like um, weight goals or just competing in something, like learning a new sport, or yeah, just go above and beyond. That's the lesson I took from this experience.
You won't know until you try, right? Like after 4 hours of physical and mental stress, like a
Yeah,
mile or 5 miles or even 10 miles of running isn't so bad because you've
yeah.
done so much already.
And you're racing against thousands of people that literally just come to Hawaii to run the marathon. You have people from Japan, you have people from Kenya, just all parts of the world just for that one day. And it's a really special event that, you know, as a runner in the actual event, it's very surreal. It's like you feel the energy from everybody. Everybody wants to finish the marathon. Um, Everybody's feeling the pain that you're going through, and you know, it's very encouraging when you have people around you, complete strangers, telling you, "Hey, you can do it." Because that's what we all need nowadays. We need that extra push, no matter where you go. And um, yeah, that marathon definitely encouraged me to just push hard to the finish line, even if I didn't come in first, second, third, 100th place. Yeah, I still am proud that I was able to complete a full marathon, and that is one thing that I can check off my bucket list.
Are you gonna do this year's virtual
See,
marathon?
that's the thing. It's in all of the history of Honolulu marathons, this is the first year that it's been like canceled, but not really canceled. So I am thinking about it.
I'll do it. I'll do it. You do it. We'll wake
Yeah,
up at 4. We'll do it. Hey,
yeah. We
if
can
you want to,
definitely.
let's do it.
Yeah, it is
Guys,
coming up. That is coming up too, right? We're in October and just yeah, I don't know. Well, soon, yeah, a couple weeks till the marathon.
well, just say the word, Kenny, and we'll do it. Like I'll be
Yes.
committed.
All right. We
Are we
gotta get
doing
other
it?
people. We are doing it.
We're doing it. All right.
We're not. Don't maybe. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We gotta get other people to do it. It'll be fun. Suffering
Yeah.
together.
So, yeah, it's definitely something to reflect on and tell my kids, my future kids on. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, all right. So, if there was one person, dead or alive, that you could interview, who would it be and why? Um, I can start it off. Um, Mine would be The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dang. You gotta do that,
Yeah.
You smell that?
So yeah, growing up as a little kid with all boys in the house, TV, all just watching wrestling the whole time. Um, Dwayne The Rock Johnson was the guy to look up to. And I guess, yeah, he's known to be that one wrestler, does the eye. And eventually, after he left wrestling, he jumped on just so many different adventures that, a lot of people didn't expect he would go into. First off, acting. That was one thing that really stunned people. He was in multiple movies, and also, recently, like Moana, and what is it? He's been just that role model for like any fitness junkie out there, and yeah, he's just been playing the role of just being a leader in our society today. He's such an influential person. Um, and yeah, I've had the opportunity to interview him. I mean, first I would be starstruck just looking at that big rock right in front of me, literally the rock in front of me. Um, yeah, I would, if I had like one question to ask him, I would probably ask him like, what inspired you to just take on so many roles when it comes to just anything in life, whether it's an actor, a wrestler, motivational speaker, or um, yeah, anything. Because that's he wears different hats, and he over the years he's just created a brand for himself that anywhere you go, you see the Rock. There's only one Rock in this world, and yeah, his positivity and just positive influence throughout just our society is pretty key. And I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to run for president in the
Be a
long
very
run.
strong candidate.
Yes.
Who be his running mate?
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, Bautista. Yeah. So it could be anybody. But yeah, that is definitely the person I would love to interview. Yeah. True role model right there. And he's also from Hawaii as well.
Exactly.
Let's throw that
beginnings.
in. Yes. Yeah. How about you, Scott? Who, dead or alive, who would you want to interview? It could be someone famous, not famous, anybody.
If language wasn't a problem and all they told was honesty, they can't lie to me. I probably would want to interview probably my mom or my dad, just because, or like one of my like grandpa or grandma, just because I know literally nothing of my childhood. I know so little about my family history. I know we talked a little bit about origins and why origins is so important. You gotta know yourself and your family tree and your lineage. And I just don't know how to use my Vietnamese language to communicate with my auntie, my mom, my dad. I'm like, oh, I want to learn so much about our past, and I just don't know how to do it. So it's almost like missing, right? And the people that do know how to speak and translate for me, they're just not currently available. So, and of course, I want full honesty. Like at my age, I don't really care if like someone betrayed another person, someone, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. Because keep in mind, Vietnam in the
Mhm.
20, 30 years ago was like the wild, wild west.
Yeah.
Things, and it's still, it's developed, but then it's still kind of crazy there.
Yeah.
But I just want to know more about me. Like, how did our family come to be? Like, what were we in the past? What do we do?
Mm.
How was our family raised, and how did we live? And I just want to know all about that. Just I have a deep yearning to learn about self, and that's why this podcast is such a passion for me, because we're exploring ourselves so deeply, and we're taking out the can of worms and all the vulnerability and all that stuff. So just being able to ask them questions and get honest answers, and so I can pass it on to my kids. Like,
Yeah.
this was your great great grandpa. This is what, because they had to go through the war back in the day. This is what they fought. This is what they believed in. This is what they sacrificed their life for.
Mhm.
And I want my kids to know, like, this is their lineage, and this is
Yeah.
what they're about, and this is their legacy, and these are the principles that have stood throughout our family history. And it's up to you if you want to carry on that flag and continue to treat people nicely, continue to grow and learn, continue to keep being disciplined, take ownership and such.
Yeah.
So yeah, like someone from my family, like it doesn't matter. Maybe I think my mom, my dad would know the most. My grandpa, my
Mhm.
grandma. So
Yeah. I feel. I mean, I really like that answer because I can kind of empathize the way you feel too. Because like for me, I feel kind of lost because I don't know as much about my family history as well.
mm,
And yeah, for you to kind of mention that as well, it's it makes me curious to wonder like if there's other people, not just you and I, that are experiencing the same thing. Like
mm-hmm,
trying to figure out a way to just learn a little bit more about our family history, where our family came from, and all that. Especially for like a lot of us Asians. I mean, the Asian community in Hawaii is huge, and we're all like what third generation, second, third generation, and a lot of us kind of lose touch with who we are. We don't know our history and all that. And yeah, to have that motivation to find some sort of resource to learn that is, yeah, it's benefiting yourself and eventually your kids, because then even they might ask you later on like, oh, how was grandpa, how was grandma, how was
mm-hmm,
great grandpa, how did they come to Hawaii, or how did they come to America? That's a story that we all want to know and understand the journey that it took for them to go from their motherland country over to America.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, it makes us very appreciative of, yeah, just our history and the journey that everybody took to come to this place that we call home now.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, if you're children of immigrants, the first thing that they do is they try to assimilate with American culture, and at the same time, they almost kind of abandon um, their country's culture, in order for you to fit in and for them to fit in with neighbors and such. And of
Yeah.
course, there still be some traits and habits that they brought back from their culture. But for a generation like us, where we have the yearn to learn more about that,
Mhm.
the my parents, they're pretty kind of closed off on, like, you don't need to know about that. That's
Mm.
of the past. But it's important that we do know about that, and it's sometimes frustrating because I want to spend time learning about this. I want to spend time talking about that. Even with my limited Vietnamese, I still are able to put some words in there, but just they they don't have the patience or the willingness to go down that road with me. And it is kind of frustrating when when your kids do ask you about those type of things. It's like, what do you say? Oh yeah, your grandpa and grandma were too stubborn to teach me. So
Yeah,
go read from a textbook.
That's the thing when it comes to just researching through a textbook and just Googling everything. You don't really get the authenticity or the true value of your own family history. So
that's why I think Hawaiian culture is so awesome, so dope. It's like their culture and teachings and languages passed through songs and dance, and there's like halaus, there's schools, there's people interested in it. And I just wish there was something like that for the Vietnamese culture and the Vietnamese language. We just I know there's a big population here, and we just it's not as like the norm, as like Hawaiian.
As like Hawaiian culture. I know, Hawaiian culture is very elevated, especially, the fact that we live in Hawaii. And it is a dying culture, unfortunately. But, I see a lot of people just embracing Hawaiian culture as much as possible, like whether it's just dance, music, different events, all of that. It's very, it's so nice to see that just like, constantly.
And you'll be surprised about like Hawaii's influence, like internationally. There's people teaching hula, there's people teaching like scriptures, chants. In like Japan, there's schools up there, and they come to Hawaii just to learn. So I just wish there was something like that for my culture, Vietnamese.
Well, you could start something. I am trying to learn more about Filipino culture as well, and I feel like there are people like not even our age or any other generation that's kind of feeling the same way, just like kind of lost in what their culture is, and they want to learn more about their family. So it is a project that could help us discover a lot more about who we are.
We need more friends that are historians.
Yes, we'll put out an ad.
I know, if you're a historian, please hit us up. We need friends and we need info.
Yes, please help us ASAP.
All right. My second question. Something you had to come to terms with this year. It could be something real simple or real hard that it took a while for you to get. So for me, this year has been pretty rough. For me, that has been this has really been the year of friendship for me. And I was always about if you have friends, they gotta be like real friends. They gotta challenge you. They gotta teach you something. They gotta force you to grow. And do all that. That's what, to me, that was a true friend. Someone that tests you. Someone that's loyal, always by your side. Until this year, some things happen, and I've learned that some friends or some people, they're just not meant for that, and that's okay. You don't need to have all your friends be those people that challenge you. That would be great if that was the case, but it's okay to just have friends where you just hang out and have fun, and that's it. There's nothing more than that. That's all they're there for, just to have fun, just for you to take some stress off your mind and just laugh here and there. So for me to learn that in a very painful way is just I was very disappointed. I was like, oh, this group of friends, they're so awesome, they're all cool people. And then you just come to find out it's like, that's it. They're just there for the good times, and they don't take accountability. They're not, helping me grow in any different way. It was just like a lot of nonsense, a lot of gossip in a lot of ways. It was fun and a good time. We had good memories, but I shouldn't. The key lesson is like I shouldn't expect every single person that I meet or every single friend to challenge me to have that relationship like me and you have, how we challenge each other. to grow and be better, and we give each other feedback and all that. No, not everyone's gonna be like that, and I shouldn't have that expectation. But what I should do is I should try to strive to get those relationships, because I get the most meaning, I get the most fulfillment. I just get the most pleasure from just being around those people that just elevate you. You know, and if I just have another group of friends where I can just chill and just not have to think, that's okay. But
Yeah.
my time and my resources will be allocated towards finding, people like that will, make you a better person. So that was really hard for me to come to terms with, because, you always read these quotes about, yes, who you are is like the people you surround yourself with. But nothing's absolute. It's okay to have fun, but you need to be challenged. You need to grow. So, how about yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, I meet people here and there, and there's certain characteristics that I would want to have, like, as a friend, kind of thing. And I mean, I'm open to like meeting anyone, and I really dive deeper into what their value is, like what they personally feel is their value. Like, do they want to grow more? Do they want to slack off the entire time? Do they just, are they lost, kind of thing? So I really put those type of I guess situations when it comes to these different personalities into play when it comes to like making friends and all that. I know, like, you and I have experience of going to like these different networking events, and we kind of see how people act in the room with other young professionals, and then sometimes we also see them outside of these events, and it's kind of like two different personalities. It's like,
who are you?
Yeah, so like people kind of like put on a face to basically sell themselves, and then it becomes kind of artificial to that point. So yeah, I'm that type where I just I want to learn. It takes me a while to learn, or anybody to learn, just someone from the start. Like, I've known you for what, less than a year, or like almost a year, and I've learned a lot. I really take this brotherhood ship into to heart, pretty much, because it's like I really question myself, like, how did I benefit from each relationship that I've gained along the way. And with this, it's like we gained a podcast, we gained a friendship, we gained just a challenge to challenge each other, kind of thing. So having that sort of quality when it comes to the friends that I choose is it's kind of that point. I mean, I'm not like a picky person, but you just have to understand what your value is. Like, where do you see yourself, kind of thing, in the future. It's like, it really depends on the personality.
Don't be something you're not.
Yeah. So that's my ultimate hate right there. Just like fake.
Yeah. So if you're a dope person listening to this, definitely connect with us.
Yes. If you're willing to just elevate each other, like anybody in our group, or elevate those around you, you are welcome.
Connect with us, please.
Yes.
We need more dope people in our lives.
Yeah. So
I guess this is a good way to segment into like, how do we meet? This is one of the questions that I've got. So you wanna? Okay, let me read the whole question.
Okay, go.
Okay, how did you guys meet? You're not from the same high school. You're not coworkers. It's hard to meet people outside of school /work. I read somewhere that it takes 50 hours of getting to know someone before you consider them a friend. What do you think of that? Do you want to take this one, and I could just chime in, or?
So you said 50 hours. Wait, what was that thing about the 50 hours?
It takes 50 hours of getting to know someone before you consider them a friend. What's the source, girl?
I find that very. No, I don't. I would disagree with that. It takes a long process to get to know somebody and to truly consider them your friend. It takes years. You know, you can know somebody for 5, 6 years, and anything can happen. You never know if they're the right friend or not. So, yeah, I guess just to give you an insight on how Scott and I met up, we actually met up through like at this networking event out of all places, a networking event for young professionals. So basically, if you've never been to any networking event, it is just a chance for you to meet other young professionals in, let's say, between 20 and 30 years old, working in different industries, no matter what. And basically, I mean, drink. I gotta throw that in there because it's
true.
Definitely common and expect that. So yeah, we met at this one networking event, and I guess one of my colleagues, he, I guess, introduced me to Scott, saying, "Hey, this is Scott, this is Kenny," and then from there we just kind of talk about like our hobbies and what our goals are, and yeah, like that was pretty much how it kind of started. And from there, you know, we just started going to like dinner and just like talking about the podcast, which is finally born and in the year 2020. So that is one positive thing that came out of 2020. Positive.
Yes.
No pun intended. Okay. Any
I'm just gonna add to the networking aspect is networking events. They're so funny. It's like people going to networking events to hang out with people they already know. So you see like these giant groups of people that already know each other. You know, it's like, is that really networking if you already know them? You know, so where like for me, like I try to meet people I haven't met yet and try to see if we can establish a connection. And you know, and the when I talk to them, in the moment they try to like figure out like, oh, what do I do, and like, okay, what can you bring value to me? It's like it becomes very inorganic, you know.
Yeah.
But in case of my and Kenny's situation, it was like super chill. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, what did you do? Oh, you know, what do you like to do? Oh, work out. Oh, cool. Me too.
Yeah.
All that. It was super fun. It was super casual and just like no ego. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't like me or him comparing our job titles to one another. Like, oh, you're a vice president. Oh, okay. Do you know? And you
So,
see
yeah.
those type of people. You know, they kind of like suck
That
up
is
to
something.
people
Yeah.
away.
That is
Like,
something you commonly see at these events. It's just what your title is, and if your title is up there, they want to be friends, they want to connect, and they want to network with you. So, I mean, you know, there's definitely pros to going to these networking events. If you haven't been to one, it's a great chance to, just meet people you've never met before. You have to take that approach into meeting new people. You shouldn't be constantly seeing the same people all the time. You got to build your connections. And that's how Scott and I use that opportunity as a way to build a connection and launch a project that is amazing.
it's like you never know who you're gonna meet, so you gotta take ownership of your networking opportunities. It's like even if you like stutter or like sound really awkward, who cares? You know, who cares? That's just practice for the next person, and you know, you'll meet someone like really dope. Like I met Kenny. and then you'll start a great friendship and you'll start doing cool projects, and it's just go. I'm not sure if the right method is to go to enough networking events and hopefully you get a diamond.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I got pretty lucky, with just
Yeah. So there's definitely pros and cons to networking events, but when you get a chance, just try attend a couple and see how you like it. Everybody has their own perspectives on it. We definitely like going to these events and just trying our best to meet new people and build different connections as much as we can.
It's just like you in the marathon situation. It's like, yeah, it's gonna suck and you might be nervous and you might be an introvert. You just gotta do it, and then you'll find out like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Let me go to some more networking events. So let's go right into our recommendation of the week.
All right. Okay, I can start. Okay, so recently, for those of you who don't know, I am from the island of Lanai, and with the whole coronavirus situation happening since the beginning of the year, my hometown had no cases, no active cases. And recently I mean, it's shocking, but we recently had, we started off with 4 cases in one day, and then it bumped up to 20 cases the next day. And now we're up to 65 cases today. So I guess my recommendation is to just see it all the time, anywhere you go. I mean, it's a mask. It is definitely helping a lot of people deal with this pandemic that's going on right now. I mean, there's definitely individuals that might not consider this as a great source to prevent the virus from spreading, but anything at this point really to kind of block germs from coming in and out is key. So I just want to encourage people to continue wearing your mask. If you don't wear a mask now, get one. Get one of these cotton masks. And yeah, there's different types, but try to do your research and learn a little bit more about the virus itself, as it's killing a lot of people, and the fact that it's living in my hometown right now, which is about 3,000 people, and the cases are up at 65 already. It is a very scary situation that we really need to take serious. And for anybody that's just thinking of this situation as kind of a joke, it is not. It's just scientifically, it's been proven to kill. And continue wearing your mask, and it's just a way to help prevent the situation from getting a lot worse than it is now and getting to be. And yeah, get tested whenever you can. There's different opportunities to get free testing. So you just have to just research a little bit more. They might make announcements and all that. So that is it. Where it is. Yes.
If not for others, it's for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. For myself, it's more of just documenting everything. Documenting, like writing it down, like what you've learned, what your values are, what your principles are, and just put it on paper for you to review and analyze consistently, and then you can make changes and make adaptations. Because once you put something down on paper or on a board, that's you right there. Those are your values, those are your principles. And once you put it down, I think I listened to a podcast about it was like Americans. They were in this internment camp, and I want to say it's either the Chinese or the Japanese. I want to say it's the Chinese. Anyways, they made Americans write letters, like saying bad things about the USA, in order to, and their reward was like cigarettes or drinks or whatever, and then over time, as these soldiers kept writing these defamatory comments or letters about their country, they started to believe it, over time, because that's their handwriting. That's what they wrote down. They're the one that did it. No one forced them to. And it's the same with documenting for yourself. Putting something down is what you believe in, and over time, as you make changes and you make edits and you put down more stuff, you're gonna start to live those values and those principles through actions. And it just starts right there. If you don't believe in something, you're gonna fall, or you don't stand for something, you're gonna fall for anything. So I started making my own list of like, what's important to me, what's my values, and one of those, as we've talked about, is like ownership, emotional stability, not letting things affect me as it should, having communication, that you can connect with everybody, good communication. Do you understand a full story, full message? And those are just a few things. And through the course of my life, I'm going to start adding and subtracting. But just having it down allows me to have a framework of like, okay, this is where I'm at. What do I want to be? And I put that down. Now that you know the end goal, what do I do to become that person, so we can reverse engineer it, create short-term, long-term goals. So yeah, that is my recommendation. And it's just real easy, like 5-10 minutes a day. So
that's pretty important, because once you have it down on paper, you just lock it in, and it's something that you should really look back on, like daily, if not weekly, just understanding what your values are. So
yeah, it's like if someone asks you, hey Kenny, what do you believe in? Boom,
there you go
already.
Yeah,
cool. Another great episode.
We are on multiple platforms now, so continue to tune in as much as you can, whether it's on the road listening to us on Spotify or any other platform, or at home on YouTube. Learn with us, connect with us, and grow with us. We are here to inspire as much as we can every single day, and try to shed a positive light on just everything that's going on right now. And thank you, Scott, for being here. And just we're tag teaming this together, and we're up to 10 episodes now, and it is the big 10, and I am excited to experience a lot more and learn a lot more of everything about you, me, around us.
So until next time, thank you very much.
Continue to stay connected.
Gathering, growing together.
Awesome. See you guys.